I apologize. I really didn't want to forget the stuff I wanted to say. So thank you all so much for coming. I'm Emily Tupa, Paulette's daughter. Thank you for bearing with me here. When we realized when Mom was in the ICU that we were going to lose her, I made a lot of phone calls. One of my first was to my husband, Tyler. And it was just, kind of a logistics, this is what's happening. And I said, could you get some one-way tickets? I had driven up 9 hours and I did not want to face that drive home alone. And of course, and after Mom passed and I called back to share that news, he informed me I'm already on the way. So 3 very dear friends that are in the room, Randy and Shelby and Ashley, we're him and Julia in a minivan, and we're on the way. These are women, by the way, that have, one's in a master's program, there's 9 kids between them, they have jobs, and they dropped everything and brought them up there. And while they were there, they did a lot for us. They ordered the flowers that were up on the altar for Mom. They bought an outfit for me to wear to the funeral because I wasn't planning for that, down to the underwear, seriously. They sat with Dad and I when we went through so many photos and shared so many memories. All the photos that you see displayed, the bulletin board, those amazing women put that together. It was so great having that. We had so many laughs. We toasted with the kinky vodka, it was Mom's favorite. We had some tears too, and one of my favorite memories from hanging out was Shelby. Where are you? Shelby, bless her heart, was trying to say something meaningful without crying. So she just kept talking louder until she was like, I think Paulette went home. Like she was shouting at us. So I kept that in mind today. So if I start shouting at you, that's the plan. So I want to thank you all so much again for coming. A Friday evening in the summer has a lot of competition, and there are people here from all over the country. Some people that I think myself and Mom have only met through a wonderful relationship online. Former classmates, family, neighbors, friends, colleagues. This room is a testament to the relationships my mother built. I think Mom was the type of person that even if you hadn't seen her in years, when you sat down with her, you could pick right back up like no time had passed at all. I believe decades as a reporter taught my mom to ask thoughtful questions and truly listen to your answers. What you shared with her, she treated as sacred. She laughed with you, and she had a great laugh. You were lucky enough to hear it. And Mom was also comfortable sitting with you in your grief. She was a very open and kind person. We were lucky to know her. To be born the daughter of Paulette means I really was the luckiest. She and Dad did not know if children were in the cards for them. And she would tell me the story almost every year on my birthday of finding out they were expecting. And I ate it up because she was the best storyteller. She said, when I was born, Dad cried tears of joy, and Grandma Wilma, upon meeting me in person, exclaimed, there's an awful lot of Tobin in there. My favorite parts of the story, though, were always when Mom talked about how she fell in love with me as a mom. And that was always rather incredible to me because in her story, I didn't come off that lovable. I was very colicky. Rumor has it that several of the family members refer to me as the creature. And Mom had a hard time as a first-time mom. They lived in a new city, and she did not have very many close family or friends nearby. She told me that many nights she and I cried together. She said we were soldiers in the trenches. And she said we survived that time together and it made us so strong. And then she would say, I am so lucky. Not many people can say they grew their best friend inside them. I told myself I'd get cake if I didn't do this. Mom and I really were best friends. and not in an unhealthy Kardashian family kind of way. We had boundaries. I was always smart enough to fear Paulette. I could tell her anything and often did, but I knew not to mess around. And at this point, I'd like to share with you a story many of my close girlfriends have heard. It was when I was in college and I met my first serious boyfriend. I was living at home to save money. And when I got serious with this guy, I kind of quit coming home at night. I don't recall Dad ever saying anything to me. There were some glances, but he was displeased, and I think Mom was hearing about it. So she informed me, if you want to continue to live at home, you're going to need to follow the rules. I believe something like, I know you're 20, I know you're smart, but I don't want to think about this, and I sure as hell don't want your dad asking me where you are at 1 in the morning. So I followed the rules for a little bit, but then I was out all night again. And one morning I was leaving this boy's house and I saw I had a ticket on my windshield. But it wasn't a ticket. It was a note from my mother. The gist of was, Dear Emily, yes, I know where he lives. This is how close I came to pulling you out of the house by your hair. Please come home next time. I think it worked out. Tyler Tupa's now married to me. How long were you scared of her? We never did speak of the note, and I did move out later that week. I'm 35 now and a parent myself, and I have to say, in hindsight, that's a baller move. So even though she could be terrifying, to be the daughter of Paulette was the great blessing of my life. She shared her love of storytelling with me and instilled a great love of reading. I recall as a young girl, laying in bed at night, my hair still wet from the bath, listening with closed eyes to the adventures of Laura Ingalls Wilder, the tales of the Lewis and Clark expedition, and many Greek and Roman myths. We also both loved Disney movies and were very amused when Hercules came out because that was a real Disneyfication of the Zeus story. But we forgave a lot because Danny DeVito and show tunes. So, Mom also introduced me to great music. We caravanned across the prairie, screaming along with Alanis Morissette. We went to many concerts together, including a really memorable trip to Las Vegas where we got bumped up to the 4th row, and Bette sang Wind Beneath My Wings to us, and we like bawled without shame. And when the touring companies came to town, Mom brought me to a lot of Broadway shows. We saw Fiddler on the Roof, Chorus Line, Cats, Rent, many more. But I think Mom's favorite music was the music of her childhood that reminded her of her high school friends from Eureka and her beloved Eureka High School graduates. I vividly recall how annoyed I was in middle school. I would find the coolest new song on the radio, and I'd play it for her, and she would just kind of smirk, pull out a record, put it on, and it was a cover or a sample of something from your generation. I thought, damn, I don't love Will Smith, I love Stevie Wonder. Mom was just cooler than I was. I had to get out of bed many times in high school to ask her to please turn the music down, I can't sleep. Mom had great taste in books. I hope one day to start a book club in her memory. She often wrote on Facebook about her favorite authors, and I'm checking those memories daily for some notes. And any of you that visited their home in Grand Forks, you would have seen they had a very extensive library there. Some of her favorite authors were James Lee Burke, Ellis Peters, Bernard Cornwell, Doris Kearns Goodwin, Sue Grafton. I could be here till it's dark. Mom even read stuff she didn't like. She read all of Harry Potter for me, even though she didn't like it. She thought Dumbledore made terrible decisions. My mother truly consumed art, and she never hoarded that knowledge, humor, and beauty. She shared it. Years ago, when I was first in college, I went through a depression, and Mom healed me every day with her words. Weekly, she would send me word of the day emails. She chose words like friendship, hope, refuge, and respect. And in the emails, she quoted quotes featuring those words. In the case of the word respect, her email not only had Shakespeare and Thoreau, but also Rodney Dangerfield and Aretha Franklin. Mom always ended those emails with a very nice personal message. And one of our word of the days was struggle, and she wrote, No matter how strong or smart or brave or blessed we are, there will be times when our lives are full of struggle and when our problems consume us. When I looked up the word struggle in Bartlett's quotations, I found little about the personal struggles of life. Most quotes are about struggles for equality or class struggles. Yet we can be every bit as challenged and feel every bit as defeated by the personal struggles that come to us when we are sick, when we feel betrayed, when we face failure and disappointment. I do believe that struggle leads to progress, that struggles are best faced with the help of our friends, and that through our struggles, we will find love and maybe even meaning and knowledge, if only there was an easier way. May your struggles be few, and when they come, may they be short-lived, and may you never face them alone. Mom struggled a lot in her last years. She was in constant pain, sometimes breathtaking amounts. She was dependent on kidney dialysis and had to leave rain, shine, or sub-zero temperatures to receive it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mom had some strokes, basically lost her ability to walk. Some days she could hardly move. Her heart began to give out, and while on vacation to visit her sister June, she had an emergency pacemaker put in. She even began to struggle to find her words, something that always came so beautifully to her. She even struggled to hear and see. In fact, Mom and Dad spent many hours on the road to Minnesota to an eye clinic where she would actually receive shots in her eye. Many of her final years were doctor's offices, waiting rooms, hospital beds. My last trip to see her, just a couple weeks before we came back from her surgery, she couldn't hide the struggle from me. When I came into the living room to greet her, there were tears in her eyes. She was broken and defeated. And in that moment, she and I were in the trenches together again. I am so sorry my mother had to go through those struggles. And I think when you struggle with something of that magnitude, it's really hard not to feel lonely. But I know if Mom was here and could speak for herself today, she would tell us that she did not face these struggles alone. Not really. She was alone in her physical pain, but she had the best friends and neighbors, the best siblings, a very good husband and daughter, and a sweet granddaughter to distract her. And I'm going to pause here to recognize my dad. I was 9 hours away and I couldn't do nearly as much as I wanted. Dad, you were an amazing and wonderful caretaker to Mom. Even though she hated you nagging about being on time to dialysis and wearing her CPAP at night, Dad was relentless in the best way in his quest to find something that could cure her. He wanted to give her a kidney and would have if they let him. I truly think he would have given her both. So thank you, Dad. Mom would say it if she was here. If Mom could speak to you all today, she would not speak of these painful final years full of struggle. They can no longer touch her. Instead, Mom would share stories like we are doing today of her life, her childhood on the farm, her adventures at SDSU Hobo Days. I don't think I ever got those full stories. She would tell you about the best movies and TV that you should be watching. And while she loved the classics, she also loved RuPaul's Drag Race, so don't let her know you. Mom would tell you hilarious tales of her favorite trips, like when she traveled to the Grand Canyon with her sister and mother, and she had to go to the store. Grandma Wilma insisted that June had to accompany her in case something happened. They were 40 and 50. Mom would speak to us all of love. She would share the best quotes on the subject, and she would tell you about the great loves of her life. She would tell you about her parents and great aunts and uncles. She would tell you of the Wolf family, of her brothers, Jerry and David, and her sister, June. She would tell you about all her sisters and brothers-in-law, all of their children, her classmates, friends, and colleagues who all made her laugh. She would tell you about her husband, Mark, her daughter, her granddaughter, Julia, and the baby girl on the way, who I believe she has met. Mom would play all of our favorite songs for you. And in a moment, our very talented guitarist, who we've been lucky to have today, Steve Lindy, has learned a song today at my request that I know Mom would love you all to hear. So in closing, thank you for putting up with my eulogy. It's such an honor to speak about my mother. I want everyone to know that Mom will be laid to rest next Tuesday at Zion Lutheran Cemetery in Eureka. You are welcome. You are always welcome there. And of course, you're welcome to think of her any time of day. I just ask that if you do and you can spare a moment, feel free to call me or text me, because it's really nice keeping Mom very present in my life. So thank you so much again for coming, and without further ado, Mr. Steve Lindy with a song from Mom.